38. A billion planets at temperate distance from their suns abounded in life-building blocks, water, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. But almost every one was booby-trapped with plentiful uranium near its rocky surface. On many millions, life advanced to carnivore hunter, herbivore gatherer ability. Tiny groups before farming population and cultural conflict explosions lasted a couple of million years instinctively, protectively loving each and all, murdering only animals for food with their deadly weapons. Then farms grew cities, leaders invented money, paid craftsmen to boom weapons, paid armies to kill, enslave, and conquer for leaders' power. Language developed, handy to call different races, religions, and nations enemies to war against, crushing and ruining 99% for the riches, power, and glory of 1%. Millennia of slaughter followed, almost all law to enthrone the 1%, almost none to elevate to decent, respected, protected, equal rights, the 99%. Brief democracy experiments were mostly perverted by corruption of government treasury stewards, by mass murder machinery maker public tax money parasites. Discovery of internal combustion burned petroleum. Power plants and stoves burned coal, both emitting CO2, heating up every planet, evaporating rivers and lakes, slashing life-giving rain down to terminal drought. Simultaneously, TNT was synthesized to boom war dead 100-fold. Airplanes obliterated a world of communities by dropping bombs on billions who used to just wait at home for stupid surviving soldiers to return. World warriors, terrified of TNT defeat, suddenly learned to modify uranium and hydrogen 1,000,000 times more explosive. Their single bombs could kill millions. So naturally, arch enemies built thousands of world-spanning and destroying missiles. On each doomed planet, one or two private lonely weirdos angrily designed law to ban the bombs, shrink the armies to mutual protective defense, obtain fresh water from oceans and floods, remove excess atmosphere CO2, stop weaponeer bribery in industry, and water forests so their death wouldn't multiply atmosphere CO2. But actually enabling thoroughly propagandized, powerless, and ignorant populations to organize legal overthrow of violent, thieving, enormously able, commercialized, and institutionalized war tyrants was indeed the slow, long, essential arc of justice towards each planet-saved promised land. Such reform movements, unfortunately, almost always frozen, indeed regressed, reversed for millennia by weaponry explosion, while global warming and TNT to nuclear global accelerated to hyperspeed. All high-tech marketed, public corruption financed, and hunting instinct perverted, then drought-scorched, nuclear bomb built and blasted to scant-century terminal holocausts. Whereas the exact opposite, love-law solution patiently waited thousands of years to even consider beginning gentle ascent. So on 999 of 1,000 planets, the TNT CO2 nuclear hair bounded to waterless nuclear holocaust in a flash, while any rare as hen's teeth love law reform tortoise hardly budged inches off the starting line. Now me, I gotta be daft, crackers, gibbering, certifiable. Why? Because I don't imagine, think, or just hope. I know that 1 billion of you terrestrial tortoises minimum are today organizing, driving for speed. May I help? I've detailed the laws existing to enforce and the new ones needed. Stop war company payments to leaders so they can't win elections by buying weapons. Enforce and make laws to stop war weapons supply and fill schools with world internet collaboration to replace bigoted aggression with loving help. Before our treaty law, all world, all age, humanity class contact and collaboration, you and I must first fast boom millions in all nations to begin and continue leading governments to disarmament, new water supply, and CO2 scrub and humanity rescue. All working together on a plan. If somebody will boom one way more coherent and expert than mine, will fast elevate human loving, caring, rescuing leaders and wise citizen masses also leaders, all strategically without kill power and tyranny power, just giant rescue power. Then we'll fast end war, lower CO2, fill lakes, save forests, and guide, legally change, and support governments through humanity's very tough century turnaround. Didn't we watch craft from the 1 in 1,000 reformer signal our missiles to be banned before they fly? Thanks, we will. Then we're gonna rocket our love bomb to the equally endangered galaxies, million more species for 1 billion years. Instead of just being the 10 millionth stupid species to murder itself and disappear. All we gotta do is get together and bounce the greed, hate, and kill formula for love law. Finding God, more than attitude or worship, is active helping love and control of each other. We must become God of more than our own hearts to work, love, and public communicate far beyond our mortally threatened family, only saved by the world that we must save first to rescue us, total interdependence. Well, how do we do that? Just make our every little survival, care, respect, peace, and equality little family humanity right and rule our every nation's government law. Folks, right now, stop today's worst wars fast, because nuclear fire and winter are 1 second away. I cut off this book to get you cracking. America, don't deliver, even if appropriated by Congress, battle tanks and long-range artillery and invasion F-16s to blast Russia out of Ukraine, because the consequent nuclear death of Ukraine and NATO invasion of Russia will launch every Russian and American nuclear missile to fry and freeze every cell on Earth. In fact, preordained by every great arsenal ever built, fully used for 10 millennia. If our protests and warnings halt this seconds to doomsday process in 2024 and 2025, we'll buy time for our true project. Unbuild every great arsenal to instead never use, so we can set about finding water, saving forests, and reversing global warming to save our world and our loved ones. Every audiobook I get out either comes with a copy or must be legally permitted. You're easy copying. Send us to American, Ukrainian, and Russian presidents. We'll tell them, give up your power obsessions now to save us all, because your military ambitions and wives and children will only die fast, like us all, in 2-year, 28-degree Fahrenheit nuclear winter. My Border Defenses Only treaty requires each signatory's provision of domestic democracy, including prohibition of powerful people giving cash to politicians in return for twisting government to their excessive freedom gained by removing rights and benefits for all those who can't pay to play. Did not most civil wars between opponents include an aggressor who denied the other group religious, ethnic, political, or economic and vocational respect, rights, and freedoms, causing armed revolt to gain fair, equal, helpful treatment? Were not most international wars between invaders and defenders, invaders determined to occupy and dictate to their foreign victims after armed conquest? The straightforward accomplishment of winning any foreign war invariably includes the commission of assault and murder for the purposes of taking others' property, theft, and other freedoms, tyranny at worst, frank slaveholding. Such wars are mostly begun by domestic leaders already committing most all of those crimes against their own people, then inundating them with propaganda that every citizen, no matter how oppressed, should be filled with the glory and virtue of mastering inferior foreigners with our forcible conquest and takeover. Although lies that they are about to invade, to ruin and kill us first, sound better than admitting to the primary motive of inhuman foreign bullying. War is all major crime, assault, murder, tyranny, robbery, and slaveholding inspired by bigotry and hate against different religions and races and nations. Elites in charge of large attack armies set up governments justifying their own domestic oppression of unpowered groups, causing close to 100% of civil wars and foreign invasions launched with identical principles. Our power to live high off the removal of inferiors' equality, rights, safety, and property. For our first prehistoric 2 million years, men well muscled and armed to do all that did none of it. Without farms, governments, cities, and armies, desperately small and insecure hunter-gatherers did not dare bully, beat, or axe defenseless women, children, or savage each other, for fear of depressing and destroying a single person needed at 100% to keep each tiny, imperiled little interdependent clan alive. Their human survival of the fittest law mandated the zero war that archaeologists know they achieved, leaving 100% loving, respecting, and caring for each and all, evicting the rare XYY savage to fend for his own sorry, solitary hunter self. Then the first war happened when some alpha male aggressor did manage to incite his starving in a terrible drought, failed hunting band to smash in farmers' skulls for their bread, ignoring their loving women of peace who begged them to offer work for farmers in exchange for survival bread. Thus began his story, patriarchy, power over and against all humans, not just game animals, by armed force, assault, robbery, murder, and enslavement of subjects and laborers. All this was justified as farming boomed population by horrible lies that new, different races, beliefs, and flags merited only hate, fear, attack, conquest, and endless abuse and oppression, mostly to grossly overadvantage a cruel, greedy 1% elite. Read Toynbee's accounts of the millennia's 14 empires to follow. Then get back to me to get rid of this doomsday tyranny seconds before midnight. Because today, you and I could be the first and only two presently on our life, not death, job. We know that prehistory's divinely human laws to survive, love and protection of all, matriarch-led and men ennobled, are suddenly, finally again, humanity's last and only chance. Get together for disarmament, freedom and care, and every corrupt war dollar directed to new freshwater sources. Let's start with any two nations making and modeling peace and care for all citizen families. The world's smallest bilateral treaty to rule and enforce uncorrupted democracy and army plus arsenal retirement, leaving mutually light border defenses only. Their schools will teach and Skype or Zoom across those friendly borders every cooperative program for non-military survival technology, full human rights government. And challenging 195-nation collaboration on everybody's survival agenda. Reported to world leaders everywhere. Now it's their turn to negotiate, make, and enforce humanity's real peace, love, and survival laws. Other nations' inquiries about joining the treaty will pour in. Y'all make major legal progress on every human survival and care agenda just to apply for treaty entry, fellas. Uncorrupted people, not business-captured governments, make these laws by desire. Even if fully enforced, they must become to save us. Now fly with me from 2 to 195 treaty nations. All of us, long experienced and brand new citizen leaders alike, will respect and love all in mind, heart, and action. Way too much to desire angry, contemptuous, arrogant, assaulting, killing, robbing, hating, and tyrannizing another single citizen of our or any nation. But just in case a few, also flirting with or winning high office, are tempted to commit crimes against humanity only recently ceased after 10 millennia's savagery, we entirely took away your every corrupt, financial, stupidly legal, military, and weapon power so you can't hurt us no more. So what up now? What did the Fab Four sing? Love is all there is. For that to be true, we needed who? That's right, you. Who won our loving new world not with pretty pleas, just good laws against every evil opportunity to profit from anti-human misbehavior.